Hello there, Steve here in Sydney. Now that you've seen the Victor Zammit video preceding this one, where you've got 6 years of witnessed evidence by experts in the field that there's physical evidence of life after death, that deceased people do actually materialise in seances in low red light, it's kind of surprising news, isn't it? And why isn't everywhere? Why isn't everyone going, isn't that fascinating, isn't it? Why isn't it all over the talk shows and things like that? Well, it isn't. And that's because people generally are too mesmerised by their life in the physical, too busy following all the wonderful, mesmerising, hypnotising goodies and treats that physical life has for you. Now that you know that the evidence is verifiable, and it's been verified many hundreds of times by top-rated scientists, from quite some time ago, I might add, way back in the 19th century and early 20th century, it was verified by Nobel laureates, that sort of people, and it's being verified today by people of a similar calibre. Now, the evidence, if you want to have a look at it, is at Circle of the Silver Cord, which is a simple website to visit. It's a Spartan website. It gives you bare bones information, but a lot more will be coming, including audio tapes of what goes on in these seances. A fascinating thing now to look at is your own reaction to all this information, which is verifiable because you can go there, you can get in the queue, you pay your $50 and you get to go in one of these seances, and it's verifiable. And I know people have been there, I've been there myself. Something of note here is how you personally might react, dear viewer, to this information. If you're an average person, you'll probably take it in your stride and go, well, I thought so, maybe, you know, I've always had this rumbling possibility, maybe, that sort of thing. And you might put the information on hold in one of those things you have to attend to on your to-do list. And that's okay, that's fine. There's a few things you can do with it, though. You can keep an eye out for more information on this, and the internet's wonderful for keeping you updated on keyword things. And you could look at the website maybe, ask somebody else's opinion on the website, and when they say there is no proof, which is what skeptics often say, and even average people say that, there is no proof. No one's ever come back from the dead, so there. Well, the answer is, you're quite wrong to say that, and in fact people regularly come back from the dead, and they've been doing it for about 100 years in these physical mediumship seances. It's happening today, and there's only about 6 people in the world doing it, but you can get to see it or see the reports of people who have attended these seances as sitters. That's the word used. Something else you can do, you can have a very, very modest interest in this, and I know you've got so many other things to do in your life, your busy life, but you could spend half an hour a week looking at Michael Tim's website, where he summarises the appearances of mediums which first occurred at a historical known date, 1848. How about that? And it peaked in the late 1900s, and then sort of died out in the early 20th century. For want of a few reasons, which you might care to explore. Michael Tim is detailing the history of mediumship, including physical mediumship, in 4 volumes. He's collecting the many hundreds of books written by esteemed and revered scientific people, Professor Richet, a Nobel laureate, Sir Oliver Lodge, a physicist, that sort of thing. They all certified mediums as being genuine. The most accurate and very best mediums lived in the 19th century, and they've been certified, but it sort of died out because people thought after Einstein we could do anything, and well, it hasn't actually turned out, has it? Because now even today we get the Big Bang Theory that never really happened, but its main proponents have now turned around. In a television show last night, the Big Bang Theory is now being thrown overboard and replaced with, wait for it, an endless series of Big Bangs. The best minds in the world have now come up with something new to argue about, which is basically an endless series of Big Bangs. Oh golly, what should we believe? I don't know. So, does science know what it's talking about? No, they just keep inventing theories. Meanwhile, more important to you in your personal life might be one's fear of death or other people's fear of death. You can see many people are in fact motivated by fear of death. Well, there's a lot of evidence you'd be wrong to have a significant fear of death, that it's an illusion doing you harm, and it's an illusion you took upon yourself for lack of evidence. That's why you believed it. All the evidence was to the contrary. You couldn't survive death, but there's abundant physical evidence now available on a daily basis. Circle of the Silver Cord website. That's David Thompson's website. You'll find repeating evidence there turning up, and you can attend his seances personally. So how's that for repeating evidence that you can personally verify? You can't really test the Big Bang, can you? You don't know. You can't test Einstein, but you can test your own personal experience. And that's all you're here for, to gain personal experience, nothing else. Can I remind you of that? Only your personal experience is what you are here for, to collect. It's the primary thing, and typically you don't see it that way. You look upward and outward toward great figures in society and tend to ignore your own personal experience. You put it a woeful third. Well, I'll tell you now, make it your primary need. Make it your primary activity, your own personal experience. It's a better way to go, and that's what you're actually here for. So, how do you react to this physical evidence of life after death? Well, it's often said to me, in fact I was challenged just the other day by a couple of people saying there's absolutely no evidence of life after death because no one's ever come back to tell us about it. Well, that is absolutely false. That phrase is often said by skeptics and even average people, and it's completely false. The evidence is there if you just want to point your eyes in its direction, and you can personally participate in these seances and see them. You can meet deceased people there in physical form. They'll pat you on the head, stroke your cheek, caress your face, even kiss you. Loved ones can do this. So, is that an experience worth chasing? It's a personal experience you might do. And while you're waiting for that to happen, you could become an expert on the subject simply by spending half an hour a week looking at it, thinking about it. It's not much out of your schedule. And you could even bounce it off other people. Tell one person a week about this and see if anyone reacts positively and says they'd like to know more about it. You can flick Victor Zammit links to them, Circle of the Silver Cord links. And one of the big problems you've got, of course, is fitting all this in with everything else you have to do, because today basically we're all way too busy. We all suffer from information overload. But shattering the illusions that you've fallen for is one of the reasons that you are here. Piercing the illusions, of which there are many. And with this life after death thing, that's not the final illusion. There's plenty more illusions that you believe in because you took things at face of value. Always a bad habit. And I think I'll leave you here with that. Taking things at face value is always a bad habit. So here you have some challenging information that you can verify yourself, which gives you an immense power. It puts you in the driver's seat. Some simple things you could do. Spend half an hour a week on this subject, verifying it. Collect links on it. Start a folder on your desktop. Afterlife links. Just collect them. Many dozens of them are available from Victor Zammit every week. And there's quantum physicists and all sorts of people talking about the likelihood of afterlife, the fact that it doesn't disrupt science in any way, shape or form if you're into modern science, quantum physics, etc. And collect these links in a folder. When people say there's no evidence of this or that, you just calmly flick them the link and say, next question. So you can raise the consciousness of other people, and it becomes a little background hobby you can have. Make videos about the subject, ask questions, be skeptical, play scientist. It's something you can personally do. You can get involved in these seances if you like with David Thompson. There are others in Europe. David Thompson's currently in America, apparently. He flies between America, Britain, Switzerland, Australia and New Zealand. So there's a simple thing you can do that costs you nothing, and you actually improve the life of other people, which is one of the reasons that you are here. It's part of your earthly experience in the university we call planet Earth.